The origin of curing ceremonies, a White Mountain Apache legend. This is how ceremonies started among us for the curing of sick people. Long, long ago the earth was made. Then the one who made the earth also planned for each person to have a piece of land that he could live on and call his own. Our people were living in one such place, but they didn't like that particular spot. So the one who made the earth told them to move to a new location, and when they did, they slept well and liked it and lived in a good way. Then 2 men among them became sick and grew weaker day by day. The people didn't do anything for them because no one knew then about illnesses and how to cure them. The one who made the earth said, "Why don't you do something for these 2 men? Why don't you say some words over them?" But the people had no knowledge of curing ceremonies. 4 men among them happened to be standing, one to the east, one to the south, one to the west, and one to the north. The one who made the earth spoke to one of these men, telling him, "Everything on earth has power to cause its own kind of sickness, make its own trouble. There is a way to cure all these things." Now this man understood that knowledge was available. Then those 4 stood there. On the first night, the one standing on the east side began to chant a set prayer all by himself. On the second night, the one on the south started to drum and sing lightning songs. On the third night, the one on the west chanted a set prayer. On the fourth night, the one on the north began to drum and sing lightning songs. They did not conceive this pattern in their own minds. It was bestowed upon them by the one who made the earth. It was as if the knowledge of what they should chant or sing had suddenly been transmitted to them from the outside. Then the one who made the earth said to these 4, "Why don't you go to the 2 sick men and say some words over them and make them well?" So those 4 went to where the 2 sick men were and worked over them, and they were cured. From that time on, we had curing ceremonies and knowledge of the different kinds of sickness that may be caused by various things. That's the way all curing ceremonies started. According to the anthology, American Indian Myths and Legends, this Apache legend is the first account of a healing ceremony taking place to rejuvenate the ill. I love how the first message relayed to us is that everyone has the right to live a decent life on earth. We are born and bestowed with a piece of land where we may live and grow free with contentment. Though that may not necessarily hold true today, we all have experienced the reality that sickness is a part of life. No one knew how to help the 2 men that became ill until the one who made the earth taught the people that every ailment has a cure and informed them of the knowledge hidden in the 4 directions waiting to be discovered. One direction was expressed each night for 4 nights, so we may recognize that each direction has its own special power, distinct yet in balance with the rest. The chosen men seem to be essential vessels for the sacred intelligence of the one who made the earth, so that they may facilitate the curing of the ill. Through many generations, Native Americans have learned a lot about the healing powers of prayer and drum. Today, these healers are known as shamans, medicine men and women who use the 4 cardinal directions, among other sacred modalities acquired through generations of development, and continue to heal without the pharmaceuticals which we are bombarded with today. The 4 directions that were emphasized in the myth intrigued me, so I did some research to discover which attributes each direction holds, and I found some fascinating and curious answers. In his profound work, The Medicine Way, Kenneth Meadows gives an in-depth description of the Native American medicine wheel, where the 4 sacred directions are glorified and can be intimately explored through altered states of consciousness in the realm of spirit. According to Meadows, the Native Americans considered the 4 cardinal directions to be benevolent spirit beings, known as the 4 winds. East, south, west, and north are believed to be the caretakers of Earth and hold the powers that sustain all life in the universe at large. And they are honored as spirit keepers. The spirit keepers have their own unique power available to us to work with, and in order for us to understand their individuality, the Native Americans associated each direction with different animals and other totems to help us relate their transcendent forces into practical reality. And I quote from The Medicine Way: "A totem is a symbolic sensor that serves as a connector between different levels of being, different life forms, whether human, animal, vegetable, mineral, or celestial, and different levels of the mind, whether unconscious, subconscious, conscious, or superconscious." In other words, totems assist us in staying guided and grounded in the physical world by utilizing our intuitive senses. They help us receive messages from the unseen world of spirit. In her sacred work, In the Shadow of the Shaman, Amber Wolf gives us a practical guide on how to foster a strong relationship with nature and spirit, as well as providing abundant information about the 4 winds and their associated totems, some of which I will share with you. The spirit of the East holds the power of new beginnings and spiritual awakening. It is associated with the rising sun in spring. Its animal totem is an eagle because it is the animal that reaches closest to the sun, which is symbolic for the desire to connect with the Great Spirit and our higher self, or our unique personal piece of the Great Spirit that works through our little mortal bodies. Yellow is the color of the East, as it represents the sun in illumination. The element of the East is fire, and one of its minerals is moonstone. Walk the path of the East when starting something new or to seek enlightenment. The spirit of the South holds the power of growth and exploration, intuition and feeling. It is associated with the abundant season of summer. The totem of the South is the mouse, because it is very sensitive and is a reminder to not confuse power with size. Red is the color of the South, to signify vital life force energy. The element of the South is water, and one of its minerals is rose quartz. Walk the path of the South when looking for change, growth, or development. The spirit of the West holds the power of synthesis, self-examination, and transformation. It is associated with the glory of autumn. The totem of the West is the grizzly bear, because it is strong, mindful, and introspective. Black is the color of the West because it represents the void from which all form manifests. The element of the west is earth. One of its minerals is amethyst. Walk the path of the west when looking for transformation, analysis, and when making provisions for new endeavors. The spirit of the north holds the power of concentration, regeneration, and invigoration of the spirit. It is associated with the season of winter and its death and rebirth. It is the power of night when the spirit is active. The totem of the north is the buffalo because it gives everything it has in order to sustain existence. White is the color of the north to represent purity. The element of the north is air, and one of its minerals is aventurine. It does not take a shaman to behold the four winds and take heed of their wisdom, for they are here to guide, guard, direct, and protect each and every one of us and the rest of life on earth. Thank you for watching. Peace.